Good morning, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of Coffee with Critters, where we live stream every Sunday morning at 9:30 a.m. Eastern. My name is Laura Joseph, owner of the Animal Behavior Center. We're an international educational center where we show our live stream training and in-person workshops on teaching people how to understand behavior using applied behavior analysis in working with animals. Hello, handsome. We are here this morning with Rico. Good morning, Beth. Good morning, April. Good morning, Mary. I think Rico is getting ready to turn 22, and he's an umbrella cockatoo, and we're sitting here with Rocky. He is our 28-year-old Moluccan cockatoo. And what I want to talk about today is one of the most common things I see people make in changing behaviors and teaching new behaviors. Sorry, my camera just stopped working. I got to do this real quick because I use my hands to talk too much. In teaching new behaviors and changing behaviors, and that is one of the most common mistakes people make is taking too big of steps. And a lot of people say, oh, you must be very patient. Good morning, Therese, to do what you do. And I am not a patient person. I like to see change, progress. That when I'm seeing change and progress, that is the reinforcer, well, one of the reinforcers behind the work that I do. So, you have to really break down behavior. And I was gonna do some live streaming with Stan again today, and the fish, but good morning, Jonathan. Sandy's cleaning his tank, and it also, so I had to think quick in changing my subjects. So I decided, I just live streamed with Stan not too long ago. But this is DC, our Moluccan in from Parrot Hope Rescue in the background. Nice job. So a couple of weeks ago, I was talking about how Stan is targeting to my finger, but he is not targeting to a target stick. I have spent the last week working with him, teaching him to touch his mouth to a target stick versus my finger. And in doing this, I am seeing that he's contra-freeloading, which means when an animal chooses to work for identical food with more effort and bypassing food at less effort. I will see that a lot when I start training animals because it's enrichment. There's numerous different reasons. It could be, the training could be physical and mental enrichment, but Stan is clearly preferring to want to touch my finger versus touch the target stick. So I have been working all week, not only on the target stick, but he is starting to touch the target stick, and I was gonna show you what I was doing this morning, but I'm sitting here with all of these birds, so why not show this? So this is Rico, my umbrella cockatoo, and nobody else can get in his enclosure except for me, but these enclosures need cleaned. So what we did was we hooked this crate. Let me move the camera back a little bit so you can see. We hooked this crate onto the cage, and you don't have to physically touch the animal to be able to train it. All right, so I'm gonna show you a series of steps we did for people to be able to train him to get in his crate so they can clean. And I know Lindsay can get in here with him and pick him up without without having to crate him. But let me show you these steps we took. But he already knows this behavior. I brought the syringe out with Rocky too because I am working with Rocky on teaching him to accept. We're doing medication training for him to accept medication from a syringe. And we just talked about this past week in the Parrot Project and in our memberships. When you have to move your body in any new way, or the animal has to move its body in any new way, you are training a whole new behavior. And so many times, that means shaping, reinforcing small approximations. So many times, I see people take too big of steps in their training, and it totally confuses the animal, and which can result in behaviors labeled as aggressive. It can cause the animal to bite, lunge, lash out of frustration because it doesn't understand, which is what is starting to happen behind me. Rico's on the crate bottom. He goes up to the perch. He's not sure which one I'm asking for. So I'm going to show you some steps we took in getting inside of his enclosure while he stays in the crate. Peekaboo, Rock. Good. So my bridging is extremely important. The word good, good. Watch when I'm saying it because that word G-O-O-D tells the animal that's the behavior, good. That's earning you the reinforcer. I don't train this to him because I don't need to because I can go in with him, but watch the steps I'm taking and pay attention to when the word G-O-O-D comes out of my mouth and where I'm standing. So the behavior I'm going to teach him or show you today is him staying in his crate while I go in and shut the crate door. Good. So I need to get to the door and open it. Peekaboo, Rock, why don't you come down? Good. So see where I'm bridging is I'm marking good. That behavior from that distance. Good. And a lot of times I've noticed this with a lot of different animals. When they hear the enclosure door click, that is a release cue. We've unknowingly trained that to be a good release cue. Not a good release cue. Good. So I don't care if he turns around. What I want is 1 or 2 feet staying on that perch, preferably 2. Good. So like I said, this behavior is already trained, but I will stay here, good, as long as I have to. I want that animal to clearly understand before I move to the next step what I'm training, good. 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 So there was a bit of duration, meaning reinforcing the behavior of him targeting 2 feet to a perch while the door is open for 3 seconds, okay? For example, this. 1, 2, 3, good. Now, me walking in his enclosure is a new behavior. Well, not really. But if I was just starting to train this, that is a different behavior than me teaching him this from behind the cage bars. Karen Sylvia says hi. Hi, Sylvia. Good. door in between each time. Good. So all I'm teaching right there was just duration. Good. Now, I don't mind if he turns around on the perch, but these are all things I need to think about before the training session starts. So many people would run in there and go ahead and shut the crate. I'm not going to do that. Good. Because that could be too big of a step, and it can positively punish the future rate of Rico's behavior of staying on that perch. See, he turned around. I don't care. Good. This is a step that was shaped because I'm delivering the reinforcer from inside the cage versus outside the cage. Good. 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 And somebody had asked me this week in our memberships, because we do monthly Q&As, how long does this behavior take to train? And my response was, as long as it takes. Because it depends on your application, fluency, understanding of training and behavior, and you'll better understand your animal's behavior if you train it. Good. It depends on the individual bird's history. Good. Good. So he is in his crate. Crate door is locked. And when I'm cleaning, and I clean every day, instead of focusing on the cleanliness, I focus. Sylvia, I saw you had a question. I'll answer it as soon as this live stream is over and I'm sitting at my computer reviewing this. Instead of focusing on how good clean the cages, every cage cleaning is training time. Hey, Puff. So when I'm in here sweeping, I'm not focusing on, oh, how clean can I get this cage? I'm focusing on the training session. So I'm looking for a broom, but let's say I pretend I'm gonna have it. Good. So I'll be in here picking up some toy parts. Good. Picking up some toy parts. Good. Now I'm going to sweep. And instead of focusing on the floor, I'm focusing on the behavior of the animal. Good. Now, if he starts coming off that perch, because I know this bird very well, that's more of I'm pushing him past his comfort level, and he wants out of the cage. Great. Good. So I'm going to bring a ladder in here. I am very aware, Rocky. Good. I'm going to check some toys. New behavior. So if I take a ladder in and check toys, I'm teaching a new behavior, then sweeping the floor, then opening the door. So let me try this, because if I touch one of his toys, hey Sharon, I've been trying to get a hold of you. If I take a ladder in and touch one of his good toys, I'm not sure how that's going to go. So let's try it. Good. I'm going to touch a toy. Good. That he hasn't interacted with as much, but there's one in here I know he will resource guard. Good. And in our podcast right now, in our memberships, we are dissecting reinforcers of effectiveness of reinforcers. Good. And that is what I'm delivering right now. So this toy I'm getting ready to touch now is one, he will bite me if I try to touch it with him in the cage. Good. So I just lightly touched it, and for just a second, good. So now I have to get out of the cage. Good. And if I pushed him past his comfort level with that toy I just touched, I'm going to want to be extremely careful, because he's going to come out of this crate after me. Good. 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 So I saw him. He's given me a little bit of a squinty eye, and everybody here knows that's not really good. So that tells me that squinty eye, I took a little bit too big of a step touching his toy. So I need to work on that. And I may stay on other toys for a longer period of time. Good. So that, I showed a behavior that he's already trained to do. And when he wants a training session to start, he will go into this crate. And I don't mind an animal training me, good, because I want to work as just one part of the equation in the training team. I do this because I want this relationship with this animal, and I want it as humane as possible. So if you have questions, leave them here. I'm going to end this live stream and sit on my computer to answer your questions. You can always email me at Lara, L-A-R-A, at theanimalbehaviorcenter.com. You can also, I'm going to cue him off of this perch so he knows end of training session. You can always go to the Animal Behavior Center's website, which is theanimalbehaviorcenter.com. I'm getting ready to launch our next podcast on diving deep into reinforcer effectiveness in our memberships. And in the Parrot Project, we're working on a lot of things. We've got a visitor coming today. Wink, wink. Good boy, Rico, you did so good. That's right, Loyola. Right, Kooky. See you guys.